Hi, it's Bill Hawthorne from Connecticut Local SEO. I'm actually the owner of the website, and I wanted to take a couple minutes in this video and explain to you how search engine optimization actually works. I get a lot of clients that ask me that question, and it seems to be quite the confusion of how do you get to be on the first page of Google. And I'm not saying that I've got it all figured out, but I do definitely have some things figured out that I've been able to produce for my clients over and over again so that they can get on Google's first page. And they're all very wanted by Google, so they stay for a long time. So the first thing you have to understand is what is Google's mission? So Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally acceptable and useful. So whenever you're doing search engine optimization, you want to make sure that you're within this mission. You know, Google's job is to supply as much information to its users as possible. So that's very important to understand. So typically in a Google search, it takes less than a half a second to complete, and that's because all the search is taking place on Google's own web server. That's right. You might think that you're searching the web, but in effect, you are searching a huge index of websites stored on Google servers. So all the information, so Google goes out to the World Wide Web and it gets all this information and brings it back to its servers. And when you're typing in a query into the search engine, you're actually typing into a query into the Google's actual servers. Okay, so what happens is because there's so much information, there's billions of pages of information that Google's storing, they actually have to separate it and actually put it into three types of servers. The first type of server is a web server. This is the part that hosts the public sites. Like when you go to google.com and you go into the search engine, that's actually a public site that I'm talking about. Okay, so that's mostly what the public site is for you to be able to get to the search engine. So when you type in www.google.com, I'm sorry, www.google.com, it's actually on their server that's a publicly held server. Then what happens is the second index, the second server they have is an index server. And this holds the searchable index to the bigger document database. So think of it this way. If you had a book, and in the back of the book there was an index, and you were looking for something, a page or two of content in that book, you would go to the index and find a keyword that would send you to the page of that book. Okay? So this is like the index in the back of the book. This is a server. Okay, and then the third one is a document server, which actually houses the copies of all the individual web pages that Google database holds. So very similar to the book analogy that I'm giving you. If you had a book that was, say, 500 pages long and you wanted to find content on one or two of those pages, you would go into the index, you would look for whatever keyword or whatever phrase that you think it might be, and then the book will tell you, oh yeah, that's on page 320. That's like going to the document server. So you would go there and it would say, oh, okay, here's the information I'm looking for. It's on page 320. And you would read page 319, 320, 321 perhaps. But it would get you to the right location. And that's kind of how Google searches work. Okay, we're going to go over that in a couple minutes. So Google uses more than 500,000 servers located in clusters around the world, and that's how it's able to do this. It shares information on different servers. So when you type a query in, your query in Google is going to the closest server to you, and then once it gets into that server, it goes to all the other servers looking for information, and it's all completely done automated. Now what I did is I actually put a flow chart here that you can understand. So the first thing that happens over here in this box here is when you click on the Google search button, which is their public site, your query is transmitted over the internet through the Google web server, and it goes to this box here, Google's, sorry about that, it goes to Google's web server, and it sends the query to the company's array of index servers. So you're on Google. When you go to google.com, you're on their public website. You type in your query, and the query goes back to number 2, the index server. Okay, and it says we're looking for this. This is like if you had the book, the 500-page book. You're going to go into the back of the book, and you're going to say, I'm looking for blah blah blah. So you're in the index now. Okay, so once your query is matched over here. Once your query is matched to the listing in the Google index, now that server will determine what actual web pages does it want. This is much like the book. You're going to go to the back of the book, you're going to look at the index, and now it tells you what page number it is. Okay, so now Google now passes your query to the document server, and it says, okay, here are the pages that we're going to present to the person looking for the query. Okay, and then it's going to send back, right here, it's document server assemble the results. It's going to send back snippets of that page. It's not going to give you the entire page, it's just going to give you snippets of the page, which is actually the Google search engine result page. That's where you see that's where you're trying to get ranked on, is on that page. So the documents could assemble the snippets and then send them back to the public server, and then you can view them. Okay, so I'm going to do this once again real quick. You type a query into the Google public search engine. It sends it to its index server, like going to the back of a book and looking in the index. It looks at the index server. The index server figures out what pages that content is on, and it gives you back the pages. So in a book, you would go to the index. You would find what keywords or what words match what you're looking for. Excuse me. What pages you're looking for. And then at that point, it will come back and tell you the page number. Well, in this case, it's going to give you the actual snippet of that page, so you can choose whether or not you want that page or not. Okay? Excuse me. And that's how it works. Of course, you're unaware of all this behind-the-scenes activity. You simply type in your query into the search engine box on Google on the main web page, and then click the Google search button, and then you're actually viewing the search results when it appears. Okay. So now that you have your search engine result page in front of you, you know what to pick. So all the shuffling of the data from the servers are completely invisible to you. All right. So how does Google find you? How does it find your pages? First and foremost, the pages in Google are in a database that are found by Google's they're Google bots. That's their legal name, is they're Google bots. Often people will call these spiders. A Google bot and a spider are the same thing. Basically, it's software that automatically crawls the web looking for new and updated web pages. Okay, so that says a lot right there. If you haven't updated your web page, or you're not active with your web page, is Google going to find you? Probably not. So that's important. Then we have Google's algorithm. This is actually a mathematical process. All right, so it's just math. So the Google bot crawler, or the spider as some people call it, reads each page it encounters, and it follows every link on every page until all the links have been followed. Now a link is usually the blue text, and when you click on it, it takes you somewhere. That's called a link. So that's very important because these are the backlinks you always hear about. Everybody's saying if you want to get ranked, you got to have backlinks. I'm going to explain it to you. So when you have a lot of high authority websites with your link on it, you win the election. And I use this as an analogy. The election means that if you were trying to become the president of the United States, you would need to have people vote on you, right? Well, a web page is the same way. You need to have people vote on your content or vote on your website to get you ranked #1 in Google. And that's exactly what Google wants. It wants people to rank you. So the more backlinks, each little backlink that you use is another vote for your website, because it's what it's telling the Google bots is, hey, we have a website out here that's relevant to your content. We should pay attention to it, and if the content is correct and it's coming from the right website, then we're going to give it a high ranking. We're going to give it a pretty good vote. Make sense? So Google's secret sauce, although there's other factors that are important, PageRank is the secret sauce. Now just imagine this. If you're going back to the index, like I talked about in the book, a book index, having the page number on there is very important so it can find the document. So obviously Google has billions of websites, so if you type in car repairs into the query engine, it's going to go look for car repair sites that have a good ranking. So they rank them from 0 to 10. Google ranks it from 0 to 10, and it's called a PR, page rank 0 to 10. So if you have a PR 2 and I have a PR 6, Google's going to rank me first because I'm considered more trusted. I have my site set up correctly, and Google likes me better than it likes you because it's voting my rankings higher than yours. So the theory is that the more popular a page is, the higher the pages go in unlimited value. Okay, so while this sounds a little like a popularity contest, it is. It's surprising how often this approach really delivers high quality, very good results. Now, on-site search engine optimization and content are more and more important, but backlinks is a huge way of getting your site ranked. So let's understand PageRank a little bit more. So there's two ways that you can really get good page ranking, and this is what really counts for page ranking. So the first one is on your own page. This is also referred to as on-page search engine optimization, which really means the layout of the page and how the Google bots see the page. And that's much different than human eye. For example, I'll go onto a page and I'll see a lot of graphics. Well, you know what? The Google bots can't see graphics. So the graphics are really there for the human. So the site looks really pretty and it looks like a fantastic site and it's very aesthetically laid out. Truth of the matter is, Google bots don't care about that. They can't see pictures. So it has a lot to do with how the words and the behind the scenes and the HTML and all that stuff is set up so the Google bots can see it. So when that's done correctly, then you'll get a higher page rank. Then you have off-page SEO. This is where the page rankings here mean everything, because it's the page rankings of the sites that are voting for you. So in other words, if you have a backlink on a page ranking 6 site and someone else has a page ranking has a backlink on a page ranking 2 site, your site is going to rank better because you have a page rank 6 backlink. And that's very important because the amount of backlinks that you have that are quantity instead of quality, and the latest changes with Google is crucial. You have to really get that. So PageRank algorithm, this is the super duper top secret classified algorithm, and it's calculated using a combination of quantity and quality of links pointed to a particular web page, which I just covered. So Google is considering the importance of each page that it initiates a link from. So obviously they're rightfully so doing that. So what happened is with the advent of cell phones lately and Siri on the iPhone, what's happening is people are talking their keywords into the search engines, and Google found out that they're having trouble with the difference between when someone types into a query and when someone talks into the query. There are different types of searches. So what Google just did on their latest update, which is called Hummingbird, in the middle of the spring of 2014, is they're not only looking at the backlinks, but they're looking at the content around the backlinks, and it's called niche vocabulary. So in other words, if I were to want to rank something like get your car repaired, are there other words in there that are car related? Like, would I have words like tires in there? Would I have words like auto repair and technicians and shop cost and other words that that are related to an auto repair? So what Google's now looking at is not just the backlinks, it's also looking at the content around the backlinks to see if it's all relevant. So basically the Google bots are getting smarter, and they're getting more and more able to read the content so that what's around the links are very important. So the days of blasting hundreds or thousands of links with some software to a website are gone. Those SEO people are not able to rank sites anymore because the Google robots are able to pick up on that, and it doesn't like that, so it doesn't rank those sites anymore. And that's what happened a few months ago when a lot of guys were talking, search engine guys were number one on Google, and they were there one day and the next day they were gone. And it's because the algorithm was changed and those sites were not ranked anymore. So getting higher page rankings, all this means is that the page rank of the pages pointed to a given page, like I just said, you want to have, let me just read this to you again, I didn't do it right. So the higher the page rank of the pages pointed to a given page, the higher the page rank of the link to page is. Okay, so what that means is that if I own a site and it's a page rank 6 or a 7, let's say it's a 7, a page rank 7, and I have your link on my website pointing back to your website, that means Google's going to see that you have a PR7 link pointed back to your site, and it's going to take that in consideration when it ranks your website on the first page of Google, because it's going to say you're connected to high authority people. It's like it's not what you know, it's who you know. In this particular case, Google's going to say, well, someone with a really good high ranking site, we're going to give you credit for that. And that's how it works. So it's important to note that Google's determination of page ranking is completely automated. There's no human subjectivity involved in it at all, and no person or company can pay to increase that ranking or listing. It's all about the math. It has nothing to do with human behavior. It's completely about how the page is laid out, about the public, the page rankings. It's how the different things are happening with the Google robot and what the Google robot sees, and how it calculates those different those different formulas, and it actually gives a result. So it's all about math. So when you understand the math, then you understand search engine optimization. All right. So I put a simple picture here. I think it's simple. Hopefully you think so too. So white hat SEO means that you're doing what Google wants you to do, and you're enhancing Google's rules and regulations. Black hat is when you're trying to trick the Google bots and you're trying to sneak around the corner, and sooner or later the bots get changed and things happen, and Google catches on because they're a smart company, and when that happens, they change their algorithms, and then all of a sudden your listings go away. They're no longer on page number 1. And that's not a way that I want to run my business. I wouldn't imagine it's a way that you would want to run your business. Okay, so remember that. It's very important to remember that White Hat SEO is the way Google wants you to do it. So to get your page ranked, your website ranked, you need to have high-grade backlinks, which I've been talking about. And the reason why I'm able to rank my clients so much is because I have built over time high authority, high page rank sites that I send your links to. And that's why I'm able to do that. I guess my PowerPoint decided to move here. Sorry about that. So I have high page, high grade backlinks from your privately owned sites. They're from my privately owned sites. Okay, so my daughter Emma and I, and my company's not that big. It's me doing that with the mouse. Have figured out how to get this network of news sites that have great page rankings so that we can link back to your site. And the next thing we do is we make sure that your social network is in place. This is your YouTube, your Facebook and Twitter accounts, and Pinterest and LinkedIn and all these different accounts. We get a handful of those sites that really matter, and we make sure they're up and running, and we make sure that they're all connected so that Google can see that. And then what I do is I get lower grade links and I send them to your social website. So I send lower grade links to your YouTube videos and to your Facebook page, and I get your social media ranked. Now Google will see that your social media is ranked. It will send, because like YouTube is a PR 9. If YouTube ranks your video and likes it, it will tell Google, hey, you should put it on the first page of Google because this is a really good video. A lot of people are looking at it. It's got a lot of backlinks. It's pretty popular. So it will suggest that Google puts it on the first page. Of course, it doesn't hurt that Google is, YouTube's owned by Google, but that's another story. So we send lower grade links to the social network, and then this gets you ranked in the social networks, and then the social networks that have high PR ranking are now sending links to your website. Okay, and then the last thing I want to cover is Google Local, which is what we call citations. And a citation is nothing more than your name of your business, the address, and the telephone number. Now what happens in many cases, unbeknownst to you, is a company like Yelp will come into the area and it'll swoop the internet and get a bunch of different company names and addresses, okay, and it'll put it into the system. And because when you type something into Yelp, there has to be a response. Otherwise, their system wouldn't work. People wouldn't use it. Okay, but here's the problem: if your business is called local, a public library, we'll say, and on one site you capitalize the P in public and the L in library, and on another site you didn't, now all of a sudden you have a penalty with Google. Google says they don't match. Google wants to see that you're on the major 50 to 75 websites and that your information's exactly the same. It has to be exactly the same on everything. I mean, I've got clients that have, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they had a different location with a different phone number. Their citations have some of that phone number and some of the new phone number, and it's an innocent mistake. But they have penalties from Google because of that, and they don't even know that. So we call this online reputation management. And what it does is we're managing your reputation, which is your business name and your phone numbers and your addresses, and making sure that all of those match. So basically, at the end of the day, if Google sees that your citations are in good order, it sees that your social networks are being used, and that you have high quality links, then it says, oh wow, this is a real business and it has relevant information for our users, so let's rank him. Because it's a real business and there's activity there because somebody's posting things on Facebook or putting up YouTube videos, and all the citations are in order. They're they're on 40 or 50 or 60 or 75 different sites, and it all matches and it all makes sense. And it's got some really good votes from these high quality privately owned sites, you're ranked. And that's how it works. Now, it sounds simple, but behind the scenes there's a lot of techie stuff that happens, which is the reason for my daughter Emma, who's the tech in the family, by the way. And we do all this stuff behind the scenes. So a good search engine optimization guy these days has to have unique content. You've got to be very, very niche vocabulary, very niche vocabulary related. So the articles have to make sense, and they have to be related to the topic, and they have to be related to your website, and they have to be related to your social network. And there's a lot of coordination that goes on there. And when all of that happens, then your site ranks, and it ranks for many keywords depending on how they work. And the keywords again are not much different than going to an index of a book and looking up the keywords or phrases so that you can find the pages in the book that you're looking for. And that's the easiest way to think of it. So I hope this helped. I hope I was able to kind of keep the geek term out of everything and explain it all to you so that you at least have an overview of how search engine optimization works and why Google ranks, and kind of take some of the mystery out of how this all works and gets put together. And that's what my intention of this video was, and have my current clients and my soon-to-be clients understand and watch this video. It's a little longer than I wanted it to be, but there's a lot of information to explain here. So I'm going to cut out and get out of here so you guys can go back to work and do what you're supposed to be doing. If there's any questions, my website is www.connecticutlocalseo.com. This video is on the site. If you're on the site, then just go to my discovery page and fill out the form there so that I can see what kind of information you need, and then I'll be glad to get on the phone with you. There is also on my website a phone number where you can reach me directly, or you can only reach me through the discovery form or the phone number, and I would be glad to call you back. I do an analysis of any website that's a $299 value. If you want me to do that analysis and go over your search engine optimization with you, just go to my website at www.connecticutlocalseo.com, and I'll be able to help you if you're not on that site already. Okay? Again, thanks for all your attention and sticking with me this far, and I hope to talk to you soon.